Well, I didn't exactly plan on making this video, but Flins is just too cool of a character. I need to pull for him. I was originally just going to save my pulls because I really want to get Columbina, Alice, and Durin. They're the three big Nogcry characters I want, but Flins is just kind of too sick, and I can sort of make him work with the characters I have, because I do not have Ineffa, and Ineffa is pretty well the one character you really need or really want for a Flins team, and I don't have her. But regardless, I still think he looks incredible and can still do some good damage. So we're gonna give it a shot, and this shouldn't be very difficult whatsoever because we are at 71 pity and we're guaranteed. So Flynn should come home very, very nice and easily. So I guess we just make this really easy, do a single 10 pull, get Flynn's, and we can mess around with this build and see what he can do. So, boom. There we go. This should be our 5-star. This should be our Flynn's. Sick. It'd be really cool if we get a double 5-star. And the second one we lose 50-50, so I'm guaranteed again. But we see Flynn's at very early pity.
Greetings. I am Kirill Trudamirovich Flins.
That was very, very nice and easy. I'm pretty sure that was like 75 pity, so bang on soft pity. Love to see it. You know, it'd be really sick. A Kaching or a Jean or something else in this pool, because I want to be guaranteed for the next character, but we don't see that. Doesn't matter, because we see Flynn's. I did a pull and weapon banner. I wasn't close to pity. Hold up. We get Flynn's weapon as well? That'd be pretty sick. It's late in pity. It is Aqua Simulacra. Dang it. You know what, though? I'm not doing any more pulls, because I literally just did a pull and weapon banner, because I thought, oh, it'd be funny if I get Flynn's weapon now. We don't, but that's fine because I don't really think I need it. It would be good, but I am just going to use Flynn's on the Staff of Homer, and I'm pretty sure Staff of Homer is like his second best, so I'm just going to do that. Aqua Simulacra though is good because I can use that on my Yoimiya as a stat stick. There, you get a good weapon now, because I have been trying to get Yoimiya's weapon and I've been unsuccessful, so too bad. You get Aqua Simulacra now. I doubt I'll use it on anyone else really, but I do want to get my Yoimiya doing more damage, so hell yeah. That's pretty successful, I'd say. We get an early weapon banner pool, and we get Flynn's himself. So I'd say it's pretty successful. Only took me 2 10 pulls. Now, as for what this man needs, I do not know. He needs these, which I do not have, and these, which I also do not have. So I doubt we're going to be getting him very far. We also have basically 0 level up books, so he is definitely not going very far today. And he needs these as well, which you already farmed a ton for Ino, so I need to go farm that again. Okay, well, Flynn's is not getting to level 90 today, that's for sure. So we can get him up to level 50. Never mind, we can't even do that. We can get him to 41. So for resin usage today, I am going to go farm ley lines. Now, actually, before we go run this ley lines, let me put him on a build. We're going to use Staff of Homer. We're going to use the new artifact set, which I probably have none of. I have a defense % one that I've locked for some reason. I've got a crit damage circlet, but he's on a crit damage weapon, so he's probably going to have a lot of crit damage. This set does give you crit rate. It'll give me 30% extra crit rate with the team I'm using him on, I believe, because we have Flynn's and Ino, so 2 Nogcry characters. But I still think we're going to need a lot more crit rate, so I probably am going to have to run him on something else for the time being, because we don't have any of these, and I doubt I'm going to be able to farm enough of them, as well as weekly bosses and ley lines and all the other stuff. So I guess for the time being, we can throw him on a Thundering Fury. This is not going to be good by any means, and yes, I know he doesn't want to be on electro damage. Attack % is the best. We don't have that, but this build's scuffed anyway, so it'll do. There we go. 69 to 196. Not actually that bad. However, that is subject to change, because I am hopefully going to be able to get his new artifact set at some point in the future. Now, while I was running the stuff here, the whatever these things are called, ley lines, there we go. 21,000 from Flynn's is kind of crazy, number one. And also, I was thinking, because of this turning electro charge damage into lunar charge damage, I could technically run Flynn's as a second DPS for an electro charge Varesa team. Which sounds kind of weird, but I love Varessa. She is probably one of my most used characters recently. I use her everywhere. I have like Varessa, Xianyun, Flins, and Farina. Could work, to be honest. I will have to try that out because honestly, now that I've said that, I actually think that could be really, really fun. But yeah, I am going to mess around with that Varessa team at some point later on. Once we can get this built, I may even potentially do it in its own separate video because I kind of want to get Flins to level 90 and on his correct artifact set to do that with. So that might even be its own video. But for now, let's try to get Flins at least a little bit built, which we are immediately not going to be able to do because I need more of these, I need more of these, and I'm also 90% sure I still need more level up books. Yeah, that's not going to cut it. Mora is also going to be a problem. We only have 700,000 Mora. Ooh, yeah, that's bad. I am going to go do a bunch of farming now, and we'll see what we can do. I'm going to try to get enough Mora, enough level up books. I need to farm his boss drop. I need to farm the other things. Does he need the land cruisers? I think he needs the land cruisers. Yes, he does. So we need to farm them, and then I also need to farm his local specialties again when they reset. So I'll see you all in a couple days once we've got all that done, and we can get this lovely man up to probably level 70 or 80, we'll see. And then we can go from there with talents and that stuff, which I probably also need to farm, but we will deal with that. That's future me problem. I can't do anything with it right now because he needs to be up to Ascension level 3. So I will see you all in a few days. We are back. I have done a bunch of farming, used too much resin, but we are now able to get Flins, I think, up to level 80. The only problem with that is going to be Mora and the level up books. And obviously we don't have his artifact set for him because I haven't even remotely got around to farming that. So I guess we're just going to start with these levels and get him as far as we can go. I really think level up books are going to be a problem. Same with the Mora. If you notice, we have 500,000, which is not a whole lot, but we can go to level 70. We will be able to ascend him up to level 80. We won't have the level up books for that, and we won't have the Mora for that. Okay, lovely. I will have a quick look at his talents, but I don't think we can do anything about it. I think his burst should be priority. Well, there we go. That's as far as we can go for talents. 2, 3, 5. We could go further because I can craft these, but we don't have any Mora. So I guess that means we need to go farm ley lines right now. Also, 4 teams. I think this is what I'm going to run with. I also could change Sucrose around depending on what I want to do. If I want a little bit of healing, say if we're running Abyss or something, because this team doesn't have healing. I mean, Farina can heal, but we are losing out on damage then. But if we want some healing, which I don't think we do because Flins is on Staff of Homer, so we want him under 50% HP. But if we do want healing, I could put Shalonen in there, or I could put Cookie in there. They would both work. I could also potentially put in someone like, I don't know, Layla or something for some shields, which wouldn't be a terrible idea. But for the time being, we're just going max damage, and in that case, this team would be the easiest. Because we obviously need, I know for the double Nod Cry characters, Farina is there because she can reduce HP, so Staff of Homer's doing its job. And then Sucrose is for Elemental Mastery and Viridescent. Because I know like his premium team is basically this just with Ineffa instead of Farina. This is why I need a healer. And then his free-to-play team is, I know, Sucrose and Fischl or Auroron or something like that. Well, there we go. That is enough to get him up to level 76. I guess I'll go do another run of Mora ley lines, and then I'll go do another one in the level up books just so we can get him to level 80. I definitely think I would probably end up running a healer or at least a shielder on this team. Sucrose is good, but I think it's probably best we run some form of sustain. So for damage testing, we'll use this team because I imagine we'll use the most damage because Sucrose gives EM and Flins wants, I think, a decent amount of EM. But I think for overworld stuff, I'm gonna swap this up and throw in Shalonen. And that should be enough to get him not to level 80 yet. We need one more level. So one more ley line should be all we need. I definitely think I rather Shalonen, but that's only because I'm garbage at dodging and I like to have some form of sustain. And I mean, the damage didn't drop off much. We're still doing around the same damage. But there we go. There is level 80. We'll deal with level 90 later. Puts him up to 69.9 to 215.7. Not bad. Again, that EM would be nice to get a bit higher, but we can't do anything about it. Can we do any work to this talent? So I can get that skill up to 5. Can I go any more? Yeah, I could probably do a little bit more work to the talents without needing to go do more runs in the ley lines, which I'd rather not do because I don't have that much fragile resin. So there we go. We can get this burst up to level 6. Why not? Let's go 7. And then we're out of Mora for everything else, but that's fine. 2, 5, 7. So 2000 attack, 190 EM, and then you already saw all these stats. So I guess there's not too much else I can do with the build now until I go farm some more stuff. So let's go do some damage testing. Now he is electrocharged, so that would probably have to be in the Abyss. And it's a good thing I haven't done Abyss yet. So let's go run this. And I guess I can try out some different teams as we go through this. So for floor 10, it is easy, so we're going to go with the team with no sustain, which will be Flins, Ino, Farina, and Sucrose. No real sustain there, except for Farina's healing, which I probably won't use, so we'll use that in floor 10, where there's not a lot of high damaging enemies. So let's have a look and see what this guy can do. We do that, we do that. We see some damage, boom. 73,000, not bad. 30,000 there from some of the normal attacks. Okay, well, it disappeared, but it's floor 10. But there's a 73,000 there from his burst. That is not bad. We'll take it. Pretty good damage, especially considering it's an electrocharge, which does a lot of damage. There are generally quite the few numbers going on in electrocharge teams, and we don't need to worry about bursts, at least for Flins. We need the burst for everyone else, but not for Flins. Actually, to be fair, we only really need Ino's burst, because there's a 100,000? Goddamn. We only really need Ino's burst because that is the main part of the kit that we use for her. Everyone else we can kind of get away without using their burst, and Flynn's, well, we just don't use his burst anyway. We use his mini burst. Okay, well, that was easy. Surprise, surprise. The highest damage I saw from that, at least that I can confirm, was 73,000. So let's swap Sucrose out for Shalona. You know what? Let's not do Shalona. Let's do Cookie. Let's have a look at what this does then. And we can use Farina's burst because we have some healing, albeit not a lot. Boom. 51,000, 74,000 there. Okay. I'm assuming if it did... Oh, we get big burst. Doesn't do a whole lot, I don't think. I didn't really get a good look at it because I thought it was a little one. But yeah, we're so far seeing about the same damage. It's about that, 73, 74,000. Let's do this run with just Ino's burst. We won't use Farina burst. Let's see what that does. Boom, boom, boom. A lot less damage that time. Okay. So I think in terms of without using Farina's burst, this team definitely does a lot less damage. If we use Farina's burst, we can obviously use Cookie to actually get some stacks for it. So it does end up becoming quite strong. But without Farina's burst, I'd say this team is probably a little bit weaker than the last one because we don't have the EM buffs from Sucrose. I'm obviously just looking at the big numbers, but we're seeing some 17,000s from the normal attack. So there goes floor 11. Now, I don't imagine we're going to 36-star floor 12, but we are going to try out this team. And balloon damage is increased in second half, which I can't really do because I don't have good bloom characters, because that's tailor-made for Lauma. Screw it. Second half is Alakino. We'll just completely remove Dendro from the team. So now let's have a look at what Shalonen can do for us. Boom. Is that 140? That had to be 14,000, not 140,000. No, that was a 98,000. That could have been 140,000. Okay, wow. That is quite a bit of damage. Boom. Yeah, I think that is 140,000. Okay, wow. That's quite the amount of damage. I mean, seeing as I was getting like 30-something thousands from him at level 50, it's not entirely unexpected, but it is very much appreciated. Obviously, we ignore the time up because I screwed up this boss's attack pattern stuff. This part, I screwed it up, but regardless, that was quite the amount of damage from Flins. Well, there goes Alakino. I cannot be bothered doing more floor 12. That's good enough for now. We got a good test. And from that test, this team actually seemed to do the most amount of damage. I believe, if I saw all the numbers correctly, this hit 140,000. So I mean, hey, that's pretty damn good for a character that isn't built correctly. This weapon, while it is his second best, isn't his greatest choice for weapon, but it works. Artifacts, he isn't even on the remotely correct build. Talents are actually they're not bad. Talents are not bad, and then he's only at level 80. And he's hitting 140,000. And I can't really do too much else with the teams because I can only really mess around with the 4th slot for this team because I know it's essential. We need another Dogcry character. And Farina is also essential because of Staff of Homer. I could technically use someone else, but I don't really see that point. Farina has good Hydra application. She has damage increase stuff she does in her burst. She can help proc the Staff of Homer, just makes sense to use her. So it's really only that 4th slot we can change, and really it's only the characters I messed around with in the Abyss just then, Sucrose, Cookie, and Chalonan, that I could really use unless I wanted to go for a shielder. Yes, with the healers we are losing out on the full buff from the Staff of Homer, but as you saw from when we used Sucrose, we kind of need that healing because otherwise we die, so yeah, I can sacrifice the full potential of Staff of Homer just so we don't die. I do want to mess around with some more creative builds, but I'm going to do that in a separate video once I can get Flins up to level 90 and hopefully, I don't know, level 8 for his talents or something. But until then, that is where I'm going to leave it, so I hope you guys did enjoy. If you like this video, do go check out the last pulls we did on my main account, which were for Skirk, I believe. And with that being said, I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.